Since 1998, the Overbrook School for the Blind and the Nippon Foundation have been working in a unique partnership that is bringing together organizations of and for the blind in Southeast Asia in an effort to utilize new developments in the field of information technology to improve access to education and employment for blind and low vision persons throughout the region. This regional program, the Overbrook Nippon Network on Educational Technology for the Blind of Southeast Asia, commonly known as ONNET, has created a regional network of individuals and organizations that are working together to improve the lives of blind and low vision persons throughout the region by assuring that their basic rights to education and employment are improved. Today, this program is reaching thousands of blind and low vision persons through local partner organizations in Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. Life for persons with a disabling visual impairment in Southeast Asia is not easy. Discrimination and limited access to education and employment have for generations kept the majority of blind persons poor and marginalized, with little hope for a life with dignity, independence, and economic security. More often than not, they have become the objects of charity and pity. Without question, negative public attitudes represent the most significant barrier that blind persons in Southeast Asia face each day. These attitudes overlook their strengths and capabilities to become fully integrated members of society. ONNET is working to overcome this barrier by helping blind individuals to realize their potentials by using powerful new assistive technology tools that have emerged over the past few decades. Throughout history, the difficulties faced by blind persons in accessing the printed word has posed a significant barrier that has often prevented them from attaining the education and employment opportunities that are their basic right. Thankfully, new developments in the field of information technology are now providing blind persons in Southeast Asia with the tools that allow them to access information and to compete in school and in the workplace on an equal basis with their sighted peers. Today, special software allows blind persons to use the same computers as their sighted peers and to access the information on the screen through speech, braille, or in large print. Today, digital files and special braille transcription software allow for high-speed production of braille materials so that blind students can have the same access to their textbooks as their sighted classmates. Today, digital audio systems make it possible for books to be recorded on a CD and indexed, allowing the blind user to quickly and easily access any portion of the text. Today, small, lightweight note-takers allow blind persons in school or employment to compete with their sighted counterparts and to create, store, and retrieve information easily. Best of all, these new developments are allowing blind persons to access the world of the Internet, to do research, and to communicate and exchange ideas and information with colleagues throughout the world. Let's look at how these technologies are making a difference in the lives of blind and low vision persons in Southeast Asia. Nowhere has the impact of these technologies been greater than in the revolutionary changes they have brought to the way Braille books are produced. Until recently, most Braille production facilities in Southeast Asia used a highly time-consuming method of producing textbooks that required a trained Braille transcriber to reproduce the print text in Braille on metal plates, and then emboss the material a page at a time before the book could be assembled by hand. This time-consuming and expensive methodology often meant that children did not get their textbooks, or if they did, they often arrived very late in the school year. Today, new software and new Braille embossers allow a file to be produced on a computer using basic word processing software or through an electronic file provided by the publisher. The digital file can then be quickly converted into a Braille file and produced on a variety of high-speed Braille embossers connected to an ordinary computer. This means that access to Braille can be both faster and cheaper, allowing more blind children and adults access to materials they need to compete on an equal basis with their sighted classmates. OnNet is helping to improve Braille production in many countries in Southeast Asia through the provision of hardware and software, through the developed local language Braille translation software, and by training technicians to maintain and repair Braille embossers. Braille books can now be made more readily available to users in distant locations using the power of the Internet. One example of this is in Indonesia, where a local OnNet partner is developing a web-based library of Braille-ready files that can be downloaded and produced locally anywhere in the country, saving the time and costs associated with shipping large Braille textbooks. These new technologies are revolutionizing the way Braille materials are produced at both large-scale production centers as well as in local schools. These technologies, combined with new web-based approaches for uploading and downloading Braille-ready files, offer much hope for blind students in the region who for too long have been denied access to the same textbooks as sighted students. Of course, any of these developments in technology are only as strong as the human resources that are available to help blind persons to use them. Recognizing this, OnNet has, since 1999, worked at both a regional and national level to train trainers to both help blind people access these new and powerful tools and to assure that trained technicians are available to maintain and repair the hardware and to install and utilize the software. Through its regional training base at Ratchasutta College, Mahidol University, OnNet has conducted regional training courses to train trainers. These courses have also provided the opportunity for these individuals to meet and share ideas with their colleagues and form a Southeast Asian network through which individuals and organizations share information and help each other via email discussion lists. Today, most of the countries in the region are fairly self-sufficient in the use of basic applications related to teaching blind persons to use these new technologies. Recently, OnNet has expanded the number of sites where regional and sub-regional training can be carried out. We have also focused more attention on using the power of the Internet and email access to conduct distance learning courses that allow the learner to work at their own pace in their own home environment and to meet their instructor for real-time discussions on the Internet. Today, there is a growing group of very capable trainers in Southeast Asia, many of whom are themselves blind or have low vision. These new developments in technology are also making it possible for blind students at the primary and secondary levels to complete their schoolwork more efficiently. Today, thanks to developments in software, blind students are able to access the same computers and study in the same computer classes as their sighted classmates. While these new technologies are of great assistance to blind students, they cannot and should not be viewed as a magic solution. Simple technologies such as the slate and stylus, the Braille writer, and simple low vision aids continue to be very important tools for the blind learner and are often used in combination with new technologies as the most effective learning approach. These new technologies are, each year, allowing more and more blind and low vision students to pursue university education. These young people are the future leaders and the role models who will become a powerful force in changing public attitudes. As the use of technology expands in the region, so does the number and age range of those who can effectively use these tools. Today, both young and old alike find that these new developments are making their life easier and more enriched. For generations, blind persons in Southeast Asia have had limited opportunity for employment. When employment is possible, it's generally confined to a limited number of traditional occupations associated with the blind, such as massage, handcrafts, music, lottery ticket sales, and far too often the need to resort to begging in the streets. However, as more blind people complete higher education, the prospects of having positive role models will begin to change public attitudes, which often are based upon the assumption that the number of jobs a blind person can do is very limited. The OnNet program believes that new technologies are an important key to unlocking the door to competitive, open market employment. While the challenge is still great, we are seeing some important breakthroughs in this critical area. Intelligent and motivated blind persons trained and equipped with the right technologies can take their place alongside sighted workers in private companies and in government offices. These blind adults are being trained in medical transcription, a service that is often outsourced by doctors and hospitals to groups of specially trained transcribers. This pilot program in the Philippines recently placed the first blind medical transcriber with a private company that outsources work for hospitals in the United States. Another group of young blind adults with interest and talent in music are being trained to convert music into digital files for commercial jingles and cell phone ringtones. A growing business throughout the region that holds promise for steady, well-paid employment. The range and variety of employment opportunities for blind persons has almost no limits, provided the attitudes of the public that place these unnecessary limits on blind persons can be changed. The OnNet program believes that the most effective way to change attitudes is by empowering blind people. New technologies hold the promise of being a most powerful tool in the hands of educated and motivated blind individuals. There are some signs that these changes are beginning to happen. Recently, the World Bank has made a serious effort to make their Knowledge for Development centers accessible to blind persons. To do this, they turn to well-trained blind people to advise them on the technologies needed and to train people in their use. Another positive sign are the blind leaders that are emerging who have grasped the importance and the power of these technologies and have integrated them into their personal and professional lives. In Thailand, the leadership of the Thailand Association of the Blind has been a strong and powerful voice in standing up for the rights of blind citizens to have the same access to technology as all other Thai citizens. Nowhere is there a better example of the empowering nature of technology than in Cambodia. Only a few years ago, the blind of Cambodia were an invisible minority without a collective voice. Today, thanks to assistance from the Nippon Foundation, the OnNet program, and other donors, Cambodia has a vibrant and growing national organization of blind persons, led by an energetic blind individual whose own daily use of technology is resulting in programs that are empowering other blind Cambodians. The road ahead is still long, but the Overbrook School for the Blind and the Nippon Foundation recognize that with each passing year, progress is being made on many fronts to empower the blind of Southeast Asia.